It's okay, just brace yourself.
Alright.
So, once again, it starts with the same line repeated. Back at Light's house! Back at Light's house! Light switched on the news. There were lots of evil people on TV, so he wrote their names down and killed them. Dark, meanwhile, was still unpacking his box, which was full of detective stuff he had been given while he was at Watery's house. The doorbell rang, and Light shouted, "I'll get it." He ran down the stairs and opened the door. It was Misa. Misa was wearing a lacy dress, but it wasn't all goth like her old one. Instead, it was white and had blue skirt, which was short. "Ah, Misa, I am happy to see you," Light said, hugging. He looked around. Sacredly, his mum was in the next room and might hear him. "Did you bring the..." He winked. "Homework?" He winked again. "Yes." "Come with me," he said, and they went upstairs. Light and Misa went upstairs and knocked on the door. "Hang on, I'm getting changed," said Dark. "Okay, he's probably naked, so you can't go in there. Wait out here for me," said Light to Misa as he opened the door. Once Misa was alone, Sayu came out of the closet. Get it? P.
God damn it.
"Hey Misa, I know your secret," she said. Misa tried to look calm, but the fear in her eyes said a different story. She was very frightened because this girl might know the truth, and she would be in trouble. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said, scared. "I know that you and Light and Dark are Kira, and you're killing people." "No, don't tell people! You have to keep it a secret," Misa screamed. "Okay. I won't tell Elle on one condition. You have to sex with me."
Beautifully constructed sentence.
Misa looked surprised. She stepped back and gasped. "You're a lesbian?" she asked curiously. "Yes. Why, are you?" Sayu said back sexily. "I am vicarious," Misa replied, as she took her dress off and walked into Sayu's room. Meanwhile, in Light's room, Light and Dark were talking about the powerful new Death Note. "I got it because I killed the old king of the Shinigami, and that made me the new king," said Blood. "The king gets a powerful Death Note that lets him kill whoever he wants, and he also gets a palace and a wife and all the blood bananas he can eat." He gets a wife?
Yeah, I think it comes with the palace.
One of these things is not like the others. "Let's try it out," said Light. "Okay. To test it, let's kill this guy." He pointed to a tall, ugly guy on the TV. The man was fat and was presenting the weather. "But I don't know his name," said Light, confused. "You don't need to. All you need is the face," replied. Light wrote in the Death Note, and sure enough, the man died. What? What did he write?
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Maybe he drew the face.
Maybe he just wrote fat guy on TV. It's like they come across the evidence and it's just filled with all these really vague things.
Oh dear.
"Oh my god, that is so good," said Light, amazed, as he watched the man roll around the floor dying. "Now let us try it on more TV people." Meanwhile, back in Sayu's room, Sayu and Misa were both in their underwear. Sayu was wearing a... This is just awful.
Hey, you decided we were going to read this.
I forgot about the lesbian chapter. Okay.
I'm looking ahead, it doesn't seem too bad.
Sayu was wearing a blue Nike sports bra and short, and Misa was wearing a bikini with glitter on it that was shiny against her blonde hair. Misa let her hair down and said to Sayu, "You look so hot." Sayu leaned over and began making out with Misa. Quickly, she unbuttoned Misa's bikini, and it fell to the floor, leaving her topless. Sayu then took her underwear off, and she was naked underneath. Misa squeaked as Sayu began moving down and Frenched her neck. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door! Sayu cussed and went to the door. She opened the door and it was Dark! He looked shocked and said, "My sister's a lesbian!" Sayu realized she was naked and slammed the door shut. "Fuck off, you perv! Mom and Soichiro should never have adopted you back!" she screamed. I'm sorry, Misa, but we'll have to do this some other time, said Sayu. Misa winked back and said, I hope so, and grinned. She took her cloths and put them on and climbed out the window so no one would see. When she was alone, she took Misa's bag that she left behind. She looked inside it and found a black notebook inside. She took the secret cell phone her dad Soichiro had given her and called it. Hi, Dad! I did what you asked and got Misa's bag. There's a book inside, and it says Death Note on the front, and it's full of dead people. Excellent, Dad replied. Now the game can begin. Oh my god, what? Find out more next time!
Award-winning content.
Oh, there was a reason for the lesbianism.
No, there wasn't.
It was Soichiro's
There was
plan.
no reason.
For the record, I'm not censoring myself. It does say for cut off.
Yeah. It censors it for you. It's very considerate of our... No, we have no standards. Sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. Okay.
Oh my god, look at... Another wonderful chapter title here from our beloved author, Diaki Yagami.
Diaki Yagami. Sorry, I'm a little bit ill. Chapter 4. I forgot what happens, but cool.
Hey.
Author's note, there seems to be something wrong with my account. It keeps posting the first line twice, sorry. Also contains Naomi / original content and Takeda / original content. Real hot! Exclamation
It
mark.
might be character, either that
Original
or
character.
it's an original table.
Ah, yeah. I'm not good with abbreviations.
You don't
And
want to be.
the same line is actually printed again, which is really ironic. The next day!
Dun 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 dun.
Thank you. Naomi walked in the front door of the police and asked at the desk for Elle. The woman behind the desk was hot-looking, and also she was bi.
We're off to a great start.
Oh god, why? Hi, I'm Naomi. I need to speak to Elle, she shouted urgently. Kira killed my husband, and I think I know who he is. So that means you're single, the desk lady winked. Naomi was taken aback. This desk lady was coming on to her. Naomi spelled backwards is I moon, added the desk lady flirtily. I don't have time for this, said Naomi anxiously, as she took the desk lady's number to call her later and maybe have sex and ran into Elle's office.
Is he that easy to find?
It just says a big L.
The whole point of Death Note is they don't know who the other is. It's just
Elle
like-
and Light are meant to be secret people. Okay. Elle looked surprised. Hi, I'm Naomi. You don't know who I am, but I'm from the FBI, and my husband's from the FB. He's also dead because he was killed by Kira, and I want to hunt him down, but I think I know who he is, Naomi gasped. He replied, I think I can help you then. Please sit down, Elle replied, pointing to the chair that was covered in candy. I can't sit on that, Naomi said, because the candy was all sticky and melted and eaten and didn't look too good either. Elle then got all the candy off the chair and picked it up and began eating it. The sight was truly one to behold as the small wrinkly fairy man began shoving
Joking.
I'm just gonna say that again. The sight was truly one to behold as the small, wrinkly fairy man began shoving bits of sugar into his mouth. Naomi thought she was going to puke, but then she stopped herself and sat on the chair that Elle had just cleaned for her. So, you wanted to tell me something? Meanwhile at Light's house! It was the early morning and Light and Dark were in bed together, but only because their parents were too poor to get separate rooms. It's not like they're gay or anything. Light came... What? Oh, for God's...
Hey, it's okay. It's not like they're gay or anything.
Light came all over the bed from the windows of the room. Dark reached round and grabbed the cock from the table. It was 7 o'clock. When can I have my breakfast? It is already 7, and in the Shinigami world I would eat like a dozen meals by now because I am king. Please get me a blood banana, said Blood, as he danced around the room. Dark laughed at the dance. It was like the ketchup song, but it was about blood, not ketchup, though Shinigami sometimes used blood as ketchup because it was blood. His mohawk was bouncing everywhere. It was like the one on Sonic the Hedgehog, but it was not blue.
There's nothing in that paragraph that doesn't raise a billion questions.
I've got a serious headache right now. It's like scary how quickly it came along. Dark got out of bed and put on some clothes. He kept the blood bananas in a special case because other people might eat them thinking they were not blood bananas and get a mouthful of blood banana and blood. He threw the blood banana at Blood, who immediately went to town on it until there was nothing except a skin with which he could eat, but he didn't because it's poisonous, but not to Shinigami. Why can't I have a blood banana? Said Ryuk sadly as he ate an apple and felt left out. He was not allowed to eat blood bananas because he was not the king and it was not safe to eat poisons inside of them. Back at the police! Kira is Mikami? That bastardly hound, said Light's dad, who was pretending to be English.
Wait, so he's a Japanese guy living in America doing a fake English accent.
That bastardly hound. There we go.
Good gracious.
Tally-ho! Pip pip, kill Kira, toodaloo. I know he is Kira because he went on TV and he was evil, she said. You did the right thing coming to us, said Elle. Now we will kill him and put a stop to his evilness once and for all, period. Watery took his sniping gun and ran the door out. Elle followed eating a candy bar and a coffee and got in his helicopter and flew to Mikami's house where the action was. Naomi went back to desk and flitted with the desk lady. Now, where were we? She said as she zipped her motorcycle jacket down. And led the desk lady into a quiet closet that was almost empty except there was a mop in there and also some paint that the janitor used to paint things with. They made out for a bit. There's just one thing you should know, said Naomi, getting naked as she took her jacket off and revealed a fancy suit that newsreaders wear underneath. I'm not really Naomi. I'm Takada.
Dun dun dun! Oh god. What a twist.
At Mikami's house in a helicopter.
Wait, is the house in a helicopter?
Yeah?
Sure, why not?
Elle turned on the sirens of the helicopter and shouted, "Come out with your hands up or I will shoot you!" There was no reply, and Light's dad, dressed as Watery, shoot out a window just to show him he meant business, and was not just some crazy guy in a helicopter. This is your last chance, he shouted, and threw a smoke grenade into the house. Soichiro got a good shot at Mikami and killed him in the leg. There was still no reply. I will have to use stealth instead, said Elle, and jumped into the broken window screaming. Mikami looked up in shock. He wasn't expecting them, and certainly not the crazy boy that had jumped the window. He was holding the death note with one hand and his broken leg with the other, and had the names of everyone he'd ever killed written on it. That's how Elle knew it was the death note. Mikami is in trouble, shouted Blood as he smooshed another blood banana into his already smooshed up mouth. One of the things good about being king of the Shinigami is you could see all the death notes, and Blood was using it to see Mikami. If he talks, If he talks, I'm dead, said Light, panicking. He knew he should not have told Mikami how to make a death note, even if he was an evil.
You can make them?
You can make an evil? Yeah, you get those off the internet.
It changes everything.
I could be evil, or I could just make an evil. It's so much less effort.
How do you make an evil?
I don't know.
I'm dying over here.
Now he would write Light's name down, unless... Back in Mikami's house! I'm not the real Kira, shouted Mikami, who was scared. He knew that there were laws against Kira, and if he was caught, then the jig would be up. Then who's the real Kira? Asked Elle. Tell us, you F-King scumbag! Asked Light's dad, who was holding a knife to his neck like the Joker did. He was mad with rage, and his mustache was covered in spit, and it was pretty rank, really. I'll tell you, it's Light Yaga! And then he died. What? He just died and never told us the name. Now we'll never know who it was, Elle raged, and punched in a wall. He was strong for his looks and made a big hole.
Just...
Oh, for God's sake. Meanwhile, in the janitor's cupboard where Takada and the desk lady were sexing. Oh, this is so good, mooned the desk lady, who was now naked. The stuff that was going on was pretty graphic, and didn't want to make this fic M, so all I'll say is that it was sexy and Takada was using mop, but was naked. You'll have to figure out how for yourself, Roffle. Imagine
if, 50 Shades of Grey was written like this.
Isn't it?
No, this is, way hotter than 50 Shades will ever be.
Suddenly, Takada collapsed to the floor, and that desk lady started screaming. She was death-noted.
Is that the official term for dying?
I got the feeling there should be a yeah there, just like sunglasses. Blood stopped watching the naked couple and went back to Light. Takada is dead, he said.
You're almost there, man. You can do this.
Just as planned, Evil Light, putting away his death note. Oh my fucking god, to be continued.
Bravo.
This is...
You endured, sir. You endured.
This is painful. I mean, I
Hey,
have to
44 chapters to go.
I have to give credit for the beauty of the content of the fanfiction, but my puny mortal brain cannot handle such awesome.